And today we are going to review the Arc browser. I've used it for about a month now. I'm going to give my feedback on how the experience has been over this period of time. I'd like to also compare it to other browsers as well for those who have been using Windows. In order to get Arc browser, simply go to their website and you can see you can download it for Windows. The first thing I can give of impression-wise, I like how it's clean. If you look at the toolbar has only a few icons at the top and nothing else actually in your screen. So I normally like this for when I'm making presentations. I normally do software development and I have to be able to resize it for all different kinds of screens. And one of the things that really comes good is once you don't have many tabs that are actually open, it's kind of a good user experience when you're developing these apps. In order to access the new tabs, I simply move my cursor to the left of the screen and then this sidebar comes up and you can see I can create a new tab here. For those who use shortcuts, you simply press Ctrl T and then there'll come this pop-up telling you to type in something so you can be able to type in anything and then the tab is able to open up. One of the things I really like about Arc is mainly the simplicity, the cleanness, but then I try to move around and browse through what it has to offer. So from the icons, this is basically going to open up the menu and they have a ton of features. I'm not going to go into all of them. If I come to toggle the sidebar, this is I think Ctrl S, and once you click on this, you can toggle the sidebar. As you browse, this will keep the sidebar open, but if you do not want to see the sidebar as you browse, you can definitely use Ctrl S to hide it. Your downloads will definitely appear under this download icon, and then the rest of the standard browser tools that cut across all the different browsers. In regards to the tabs, I like the way it's organized on the side. It helps to avoid the clutter of many small tabs that appear at the top. And maybe if I'm to show an example, because since I normally work on sites and I end up having very, very many small tabs, as you can see here. It has the ability to do this on the side to turn on vertical tabs, whereby I could have this, and maybe if I wanted to pin them, I could have something like this, whereby this is static and I could minimize this as well. It would be good. This would have been cleaner if this was also fully hidden, just like the way Arc has done it. You can tell that this is the clean version of the implementation for the sidebar, so I like it for that. Since I normally work on different projects, I end up opening very, very many tabs. I've ended up using very many different browsers. So what browsers normally have is something called Workspaces. Though when I come to Arc, you can see below here, there are these icons here. And once I tap on this plus icon, it gives me an option to add a new space. A new space is more like a workspace. Let's say I want to create a workspace whereby, okay, in this space, I only want to create tabs. Maybe I'm researching on things to do with AI or images or any other research or work I'm doing. I could decide to categorize my work and say, you know what, in this new tab that I'm creating, I simply want to call it maybe AI space. You can customize it however you like, though I wouldn't go so much into this. So whatever the color you like, you go for that. You can choose between light and dark mode, and then if you're comfortable with something, you create that space. And once you create that space, all the tabs that you open in here are going to be strictly restricted to that space. So I do have other spaces, and you can see I'm able to actually move through different spaces. And another thing they have is on this plus icon, they have folders. Let's say I'm browsing and I'm browsing a given topic. Let's say I'm into some development stuff, and let's say there is a certain category I have for maybe databases or anything. I could come and say, you know what, I want to create a folder. This folder is going to have only things to do with a database. And once I have that there, maybe I open up a link to do with the databases. Let me see, Serial DB. And for this Serial DB, I'm going to get it and I'm going to put it under the database folder. So in case I'm not viewing anything from this folder, it will get minimized and I can only see the links that I'm previewing. Or by default, since I'll put it here, every time I need to open up something in regards to the categories, I can see the different things I've put up there. So that would be the use of folders. That is how you can utilize folders, which is kind of a nice feature. In regards to spaces, I think this is okay, but the challenge I have with spaces is, much as they have put these navigations at the bottom here, I might prefer other navigations. And when I say I might prefer other navigations, is what happens when I open up very many different workspaces. Are these all going to be very many tiny dots? I don't know how that works out. I just keep creating random, because these dots just keep increasing and increasing. They're not paginated or anything, so the dots get so many and I have to come to each of them. Overall, each in order to see what the name of that space was. The challenge I have with the organization of this is the many dots. Yes, they might look okay and good on the screen, but then if I show you what I have under Edge, if you look at the different workspaces I have a lot of different workspaces. Each of them has their own tabs, and the beauty I like about the tabs here is you can see that each workspace I have is going to open up in its own window, which allows me to focus strictly on what I'm doing at the given moment. And once I am done with using this workspace, I can close it, and this is synced up across all my devices. Even if I go to my phone, I'll be able to actually access all these given tabs and information. So I like how my workspaces are synced across all my different devices. And when I'm done working on any given maybe idea or project or anything, I simply have to close that window for that given workspace, and all that data is preserved, all the tabs are preserved, so I can easily resume whenever I want to open it up. I can simply come and say, you know what, let me open up this particular workspace, and once I open it up, I'm able to see all the tabs that I last worked with for that given workspace. I kind of prefer this implementation of workspaces. Of course, maybe the arc is still in preview and it's something new, but maybe this is something that will come in the future. That is my main qualm, my main issue I have with the implementation of Workspaces in the Arc browser. In comparison with other browsers, I want to look at consumption of RAM and how much memory does this use. If we open up Task Manager, we can see, okay, Arc is here. It doesn't really consume resources. Memory, it's only 281 MBs. I think all PCs can handle that. Firefox is having 509 MBs. Chrome is at 543. Canary is at 1.5 GB of memory, which is okay. My Edge is running at, let's say, 1.9 GB of memory, which for me is okay. Vivaldi is running at 361. I normally use Edge for a lot of my stuff, so one of the things I like about Edge, the reason as to why I think it's really consuming a lot of my memory, is I can create a shortcut for a website on the given computer that I'm using. So let's say I frequently visit this site, or let me say I frequently visit Pinterest. And since I frequently visit Pinterest, let's say I don't want to open Edge and then go to Pinterest every time I want to open Pinterest. What if I just want to go to my start menu and I search Pinterest and access it? One of the beauties in Edge is I can come and look for this icon here that says apps, and then once I click on it, it will give me an option to install Pinterest as an app. As you can see below here, I have a lot of apps or websites I've installed as apps on my PC. You can see all the way from Canva, Figma, you can see ChatGPT, LinkedIn, Notion, whatever tool you use, you can easily install it on your computer. So I simply come and say install, and once I say install this, you can see that, okay, it has opened it up in its own window. And when I come here, I can say maybe create a desktop shortcut. You can also choose whether it starts up on device login or not. It will automatically be checked for pinning it to the taskbar. So I'll simply say allow, and once I say that, I'll get a confirmation message here saying, would you like to pin this to your taskbar? And I'll say yes. And once I do that, that means there will be a dedicated pin on my taskbar for Pinterest. So if I come to my taskbar, you can see at the bottom here, you can see the icon for Pinterest. Once I tap it, it opens strictly Pinterest. So the next time I want to use Pinterest on my computer, I simply come in and type Pinterest, and you can see it's already up here as an app. And once I do that, it's going to open up the window for Pinterest. Since I've already opened it up, you can see, yes, these are two tabs. I can simply close this, but this is one of the beauty or the things I like about Edge that I don't really find in any other browser. Initially, I think I used this in Chrome, though I don't know what happened. I think this was removed later in Chrome because Chrome used to have it somewhere on the side menu, but I believe that was removed. So I ended up using Arc for about a month, but I ended up reverting back to Edge because of the different features that it gives me, those that make me more productive when I'm doing or working on different stuff. That would be my take on Arc. Yes, if you want a clean look, it's really good and it's really sleek and it's really nice. For my case scenario, I tend to work with a lot under a lot of tabs and workspaces that I sync across all my devices. Too bad I'm not using maybe an iPhone, so maybe I can't sync between the phone and the PC. But if you're a Windows user with Android, Edge does it for me. So I ended up reverting back to Edge. And another browser that has all these features I've talked about is Vivaldi, because Vivaldi also has workspaces. I used to use Vivaldi mostly before, though it has all these features. It's one of the best browsers for customizing whatever you're working on. Simply come to new workspace, give it a name, maybe, let me just call it that, and I create that workspace, and you can see this is a workspace that has been created called AI. And if I want to have another workspace, I could simply come in and say, let's say we are creating another workspace for YouTube, and I'll create this workspace for YouTube. And you see that when I go to the YouTube workspace, it only has my YouTube URLs, and when I come to the AI workspace, you can see I can only put in my AI work. So that's it. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.